Batman 159, Legacy number 924, Jeff Loeb writing with Jim Lee on the art. Hattush is continuing from its first part. Now, I wasn't that positive, but I was kind of lenient on the first issue of this. I thought, there was some nostalgia here. I kind of like how old school it feels. It feels of an era that I kind of started in comics and all that. I will say my positive thoughts are a lot more diminished with the second part.
Brother, let me take you back to last week where I'm trying to get through books because I'm planning on doing the show. First thing, download my books. I go to read this one to get it out the way.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I see is Dead Wayne's, and I'm about ready to throw my iPad. And I'm like, not the LOEB. Come on, man. All the Batman you've written, we got to touch on this again. So,
not just that. Yeah. I mean, we start off with the crime alley sign, and then the flashback panel of Wayne next to the dead parents, and it's like, okay, we're doing this. I mean, honestly, like this entire issue, because obviously the whole thing with Joker being left for dead.
Yep.
Last issue, Batman just had to let him die. Obviously, he's not going to. So he's transported him to Leslie Tompkins, right? And it shows you that she's the one who found Bruce back in the alley when he was a kid. Sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not usually what happened, but whatever, fine. I'll accept it.
And then I'm going off of the stuff that we just did in Patron Saint, Tom Taylor, thank you. My brain is not working.
Detective.
In Tom Taylor's detective run, where Leslie was a close friend of the Waynes, like took Martha out shopping for that perfume.
Yes.
Yet she's just running this clinic outside where they got shot. Again, consistency, LOEB.
Yes, and
come on, man.
Bruce doesn't know who she. Like, he says that like the woman who he didn't know at the time found him. Yep. And yeah, that just feels like editorial, just not wanting to tell LOEB that he can't do something, so they just kind of let it slide. That's what that feels like to me.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. Damn it, because I'm enjoying that Detective Comics run.
Oh yeah, I'm going to remember that run more fondly than Hattush. I'll tell you that.
Oh goddamn! Shirtless Joker too many times in this issue.
So yeah,
it's also going to remember.
She's working on Joker, and she's like saying why this is a terrible idea. She should go to a hospital, but Batman's like, no one will give him the care because everyone just wants to see him dead. Blah blah blah. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. We're doing this. So we spend a lot of pages on her doubting herself and critiquing him for bringing him here and yada yada. And Batman kind of sits in the chair and he falls asleep and he's like having these like nightmare visions of the Joker and whatnot.
Very much Tim Burton's Batman here. I was getting the vibe with the fedora and the big smile from underneath.
I think Killing Joke when I see that, not Tim Burton, but I can see what you're saying.
I mean, but you see what I'm saying? It's the angle from underneath. Where you see the smile first under the brim, but yeah. Definitely nightmarish.
So he takes Joker back to the cave, and he's got him sedated and hooked up to stuff and whatnot. And then the focus of the rest of this issue comes up, which is out of nowhere, there is a gun pointing to the back of Batman's head.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear the phrase, so it's true. Now, admittedly, we all know what's coming because the cover spoiled it, but we just see the bubble say, so it's true. And we see just a little bit of the glove, but we don't reveal who it is yet. And it's someone who's very upset that Batman has saved the Joker. And it's, how could you save him? Blah, 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 blah. And then, a fight breaks out. And, like, I don't know what it is about some writers having a fetish for having Batman fire a gun. And even though, don't get me wrong, in the context of this, yes, Batman knows that it won't actually harm Red Hood because if Red Hood's helmet's built to withstand it. I get it. But he just really wanted to have a panel where Batman fires a gun. Like, for some reason, there's some writers or artists, maybe it's Jim Lee's fault, I don't know, but who just love to get away with it for some reason, and I do not get it. I get that there's no consequences here, and I know that Batman knows that, but it's still just like, it should still feel like he cares about firing a gun, but he just dives for it and fires it like it's nothing. It just bothered me.
At his son! Dude, this is not a random guy. This isn't like, I'm going to aim for the body armor where I know it's going to be the strongest. to get him off balance, because we've seen Batman do that type of stuff.
Also, isn't canonically, now admittedly, how much Loeb is paying attention to canon, as we've previously established, he might not be. But canonically, isn't he using rubber bullets right now? So maybe that's also a factor here at play.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm so tired of the Red Hood Joker thing.
Oh, so am I.
We've tread this so much. Like, after 3 Jokers, we should just let Jason be his own character. Not tie him to the death of the Joker anymore. Like, we're done.
Joe's funny.
I don't.
Last week, or last issue, I should say, I was saying how, this reminds me of a time, right, in comic books. And what's so wild is this Red Hood stuff feels like we're still in that time where Jeff Loeb has just not paid attention to the fact that 20 plus years have passed, and we've got Jason Todd being like, how could you protect the Joker? It's true. And like, I hate this. I hate that we're doing this again. Stop it.
Jeff's been in stasis for 20 years, which has helped out Long Halloween, but it is not helping out on Hush.
I just wasn't feeling this. They referenced the original Hush when he's like, hey, you thought I was back from the dead then, and I wasn't. It was just Clayface. And that's also what Batman was doing. He was checking to see if it was Clayface, apparently. Okay, sure. But that's such a weird assumption on his part, though. It's like, Jason's back now, though. It's like, I get why in the original it was like a mystery, like, how's Jason back? Yeah. But Jason's been back for a long time now. Like, why would you even assume that, like, Tommy Elliott would be pulling the Clayface Red Hood thing again? He doesn't need to. Red Hood is just there.
You did mind control with him in Zdarsky's. Like, what are we doing?
Loeb didn't read that.
No.
I mean, I wish I had, to be fair, but...
I know. But there was just a thing, like... it's rough, man. This... I don't want to say almost ruined my week, because I had a real rough week last week being sick. This was up there. This was up there with losing my voice. I'll tell you that much.
Dear. I have no mouth, but I must scream. Yes. And then we go to the clock tower, and Babs is talking with Dick. And they're just talking about what's going on and whatnot. And like, you know, it's kind of weird because it kind of feels like they're I felt this a little bit in the last issue as well, but I think here as well, it felt like they're both very uber serious and sort of gritty looking in a way that doesn't feel like it fits Dick and Babs that much. But the thing I really hated here, now I don't mind Babs having all of her old costumes like Batman does in the background. That's fine. I'm cool with that. However, what is up with this Riddler design? What is this? Why does he look like Cable?
He's techno-punk Riddler. and he's gotten yoked, man. He's built like flipping Dave Bautista.
He's built like, he's got like I don't know if I want to call him pouches, but he's got like you know, these rectangular bits all over his outfit.
If they're not pouches, they're lapel things that are worse than pouches, because at least you can put stuff in pouches. And the lapel straps, they're just there to keep your shirt up, you know? But he looks so dumb. And
maybe I'm like just not remembering this, but has Riddler known who everyone is for a while, and I've just forgotten this?
Yeah, part of Hush was him putting together, right? Because his brain got wonky from the Lazarus juice, right? However, I don't know if that was still respected up until recently.
Yeah, you know? Because this is the thing. Keep in mind that since Hush 1, right, we had both the New 52 and then Rebirth. So a lot of these things feel like they weren't canon, but Loeb's not accepting that they're not canon anymore.
Right.
So he's just referencing things from Hush 1 that cannot possibly make sense in the current comics in any way.
This feels like a more distant timeline than the Absolute Universe at this point.
Joe was so frustrated about it, though. See if they just said, oh, Hush 2 is its own universe that follows on from Hush 1, that'd have been fine. But they're doing this weird half and half thing where it's kind of acknowledging some stuff that's went on in the last 20 years, but it's also ignoring other things that get in the way of what he wants to do for Hush 2. So we've got this weird mishmash of continuity at play with this particular arc, and it's not pleasant.
Because the last time I remember seeing Riddler was again in Zdarsky's, where he went to that jail with the warden, right? And he was subjected to experiments. but I don't know if that led him to get jacked, right? And I don't think he knew who the Bat family were. So again, I feel like this is just picking up those threads from Hush. And it just doesn't work. And again, he looks dumb. Just give me Riddler in a bowler hat with his cane and a domino mask. He doesn't even need to have the suit. Just those accoutrement, and it's the Riddler. Here, this looks like the new toy they want you to buy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of variations of Riddler I'm fine with, but this is just like a completely different character. This looks like a military dude of some kind with a crew cut.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And just again, Babs sitting in her clock tower in her full suit. I said this last issue. It's just weird. Because why is she just dressed up as Batgirl if she's just on monitor duty? You know, I don't get it. So other than Jim Lee wanted to draw her in the full suit, I guess. I don't know.
And there's only one more page after this Riddler page, and it's Batman waking up in the cave after his fight with Red Hood. Red Hood seemingly is taking the Joker, and Batman comes to the conclusion in his narration that he's come here, to do something, but it wasn't to kill the Joker. And his conclusion at the end, the final line of like narration, is him saying, "Jason's working with Hush." Like, he leaps to that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how you leapt to that, Batman. If it's true, I'm not interested, and if it's not true, then I'm also annoyed that we wasted a cliffhanger on this. So, yeah.
But to what end? To what end does Tommy Elliott want to pervert the worst Robin? I don't get it. Like, how does that hurt Bruce?
Well, I mean, I can see why it would hurt Bruce. I can also see why Jason Todd's the one that would consider working with Hush. Well, at least at a point. Again, if this was 2007-ish, I could see why Jason Todd would be tempted to work with Hush. I feel like doing it now is just regressing his character, like, through everything that he's been through in the last, 20 years of comics. But hey, whatever. What's so funny is that I think the first issue wasn't that bad. I think this second issue of Hush 2 is kind of the train wreck that we all thought it might be. And I'm still going to read it because I'm curious to talk about it, but it is a train wreck. Like, it's not it's not good. There was very little in this I liked.
I'm a bit of a masochist, so I'm going to keep reading it.
Oh, we know you're a masochist, Matt. That's
Yes, no, I was doing your voice.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to drop it, I have to say.
Yeah, I know. If I wasn't allowed to drop the Zdarsky one, what do you think? Think I could get this one?
Besides, it's only like another 4 issues before a new run anyway.
Yeah, and then we're getting Fraction, so I just have to pick it up again anyways.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, no, this was bad. Like, again, this, I don't want to say it ruined my week, but it helped.
Just looking back at it now, after we've done talking about all of it, we had flashback to the Wayne murders, we had Crime Alley, we had Jason Todd being butthurt about the Joker again, and then we had military crew cut, new outfit Riddler.
Oh.
Didn't like any of that.
So, yeah. So, real quick, if you're on League of Comic Geeks, you can go down and read reviews. And sometimes there's like little fun quips. The top one right now, it's a 2.5-star review that just says, "Matt Fraction, if you could hear us, please. Matt Fraction, please save us." So, makes me feel better that it's not just us, you know?
Dear.
But
if you're a fraction better than this, we'll take it.
Yes. And I just feel like, you know, Loeb's this is all just hitting nostalgia pops. I feel that's the only reason this exists. I don't think that there was any better idea that like Loeb had been sitting on this, because at least I feel with the Long Halloween, it's being this homage to Tim Sale, and I definitely feel like this is something he had planned in the long run. What? Hush 2 just feels like he's throwing stuff together. You know,
well, I think
like, all right, cool.
The thing with Last Halloween is that was meant to be with Tim Sale, but then Tim Sale's death obviously changed things, and so it felt like that was something that was going to happen. There was always going to be a third one of those. This feels, I don't know what this feels like, but the sad part is though, is it's selling pretty well, and like that's why DC moved everything out the way to make it happen, because frankly they knew that those two names on a book were going to sell regardless of how good it was. But here we are. So, you know.
And the Jim Lee art's fine, I guess. Like, you know, it's not terrible. It's a bit sketchy. It hits that Jim Lee.
It feels
vibe.
like Jim Lee art can be quite good. I feel like here it feels like he's already rushing a little bit to stay on deadlines.
Yep. That's what I meant by the Jim Lee vibe. It feels rushed, but it's still good because it's still Jim Lee. You know, it's like, it's not bad art. I would never say Jim Lee's art is bad, but could it be better? Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Matt, what are you giving Batman 159?
You ready for this? 4.5.
Ho 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 ho! I'm just gonna straight 4.
There you go.
He's not getting the 0.5 for me.